Hello, you're watching News Mongolia on MNB World. I'm your host, Untitled Chapter. Our top stories: 785 more confirmed cases and 4 additional deaths reported. Mongolia to open its borders on July the 1st. Pregnant and breastfeeding women to receive Pfizer vaccine shots. For more stories, stay tuned. The Ministry of Health reported that 785 new COVID-19 cases were confirmed nationwide in the past 24 hours, and 4 more people have died.
As of today, 785 new cases were confirmed after taking tests from around 8,000 people nationwide. 75 more patients have recovered, including patients who were being treated at hospitals, and no recoveries were recorded among people who were being treated at home, which makes it a day above a very few recoveries. Unfortunately, 4 people aged between 46 and 79 died due to COVID-19 complications within the past 24 hours. Of today's new cases, all cases are of domestic transmission. 729 cases were confirmed in ULAANBAATAR city and 56 were confirmed in the provinces, with the most of the cases recorded in two Sukhwatar, Orkhon and Arkhak provinces. Among the 4,249 COVID-19 patients being treated at hospitals nationwide, 51.6% are showing mild symptoms of illness and 122 people are in critical condition. Additionally, 2,568 patients are being treated at home. Yesterday, 82,017 people received vaccinations. In total, in the country, 89.4% of the target citizens have received the first dose and 49.6% of the target citizens have received the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Health officials advise the public to not relax yet and keep following the safety precautions, as it will take more time until most of the citizens have gained full immunity.
The regular cabinet meeting was held on May 27th. During the meeting, the government of Mongolia provided the latest updates on opening international borders.
Mongolia plans to open its borders on June 1st of this year, and several regulations were adopted in this regard. Nationals of Mongolia returning to Mongolia are not required to be immunized. In other words, they will be able to receive vaccine shots when they return home. However, foreigners coming to Mongolia must have been administered full doses of COVID-19 vaccine. The Prime Minister of Mongolia, Oyun instructed the relevant ministers to pay special attention to this matter.
During the cabinet meeting, it was decided to immunize breastfeeding and pregnant women with Pfizer vaccines. Details as follows.
Mongolia received a total of 4.7 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. This week, 100,620 doses of Pfizer vaccines arrived in ULAANBAATAR as part of the COVAX program. Therefore, the government of Mongolia decided to vaccinate pregnant and lactating women on a voluntary basis and by a doctor's prescription. The Ministry of Health's related department has recommended that pregnant women shall be vaccinated with Pfizer based on international research and data. The World Health Organization also recommends that pregnant women with high risk of infection and other health conditions shall be vaccinated under the guidance of a physician or healthcare provider. Breastfeeding women will be voluntarily vaccinated with Sinopharm's Vericell vaccine in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, if there are restrictions regarding the Pfizer vaccine. By Wednesday of this week, the first dose of the vaccine was administered to 89% of the target population, and the second dose was administered to 46% of target population.
The government of Mongolia is focusing on financing the infrastructure needed for housing projects in the capital city and rural areas. During the cabinet meeting, Prime Minister Oyun gave instructions for the establishment of a working group to reduce and stabilize the prices on essential construction materials.
In 2020, Mongolia imported 240,000 tons of steel fittings for construction and building and produced 12,000 tons domestically. As part of the 10 trillion comprehensive plan to protect health and recovery in the economy, 3,995 households have received 295 billion Mongolian tugrus in mortgage loans. This is 2.8 times more than in the same period last year. In order to provide people with affordable housing and increase the state-owned rental housing fund, a project is being implemented to build 8 apartment districts. This project will be funded by the state and capital city budgets, international development funds, and public-private partnerships. As a result, about 100,000 people will be able to move into 28,569 apartments.
In our country, private sector companies have lately been getting interested in hiring people living with disabilities. For example, Denga.mn, a workplace platform, has created a special option for people living with disabilities and has posted 17 jobs. Those who are looking for such a job can visit their portal and gain employment.
This young man's name is Muhtur. He is a financial economist. He has been working as a credit officer for a private non-banking financial institution for 3 years. He had previously worked for a government agency but joined his current company because of his interests in economics and the stock market. He said that in 2019 he applied for a job through an online service and was accepted.
In general, a job seeker can visit the website of an organization they want to apply to and look for open vacancies. I think the time when you wait for someone to offer you a job vacancy is over. Society is becoming more open and tolerant, so there are many more job opportunities. The most important requirement is to have the necessary skills. If you meet the requirements, you can easily get hired.
Muhtur and his colleagues are some of the examples of the workplace and job market evolution that allows people living with different disabilities to be actively engaged in the labor market.
Since the term people with disabilities is widely used, we want to convey a message to society that there is still potential and opportunity for us to develop.
I would like to say that if given the chance and support, people living with disabilities can be equally productive and competent like any other person active in the labor market.
If I'm allowed to work with a screen reader, and if I will have a more friendly and accessible living environment, I can practically engage in social life and activities without any restrictions.
People living with disabilities like Muhtur make up about 3.3% of our population, and out of the more than 42,000 people of working age, 21% are currently employed. The global average is 44%, but this number is expected to rise further as most countries have a human rights concept stating that no one should be left behind or left out.
Now let's look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. And here's the weather forecast for major cities around the world. That's all for today. Thank you for staying with us on News Mongolia. See you next week with more stories and updates. Please follow MNB World on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.